Hey Ben, this is Steve over in Washington. Thanks for taking the call.
Hey, anytime, man.
Your story about Matt Manueller. I mean, the GOP in the state and in the country doesn't do anything to represent the working class. And I'm this close to abandoning the Democrats as well in their representation of the working class. And I don't know if you were going to address this, so I hope I'm not jumping the gun, but they had a chance today to pass a bill to allow importation of pharmaceuticals from Canada.
Yep.
And we had Cory Booker voting against it. We had both of my Democratic senators from the state of Washington voting against it. And we had like Ted Cruz voting for it, and we had Rand Paul voting for it, and just the chance that they had to well, I hate saying this, to be part of the resistance. I don't know what you feel about the resistance. But the chance they had to do that and stand up for the working class infuriated me so much. And so I guess my question for you is, I know we've been talking about trying to push Democrats to the left and pushing them back to where they represent the working class. But after what they did today, do you think there's any possibility of that, or should we be trying to
That's a great
adjust
question,
it a different way? And
That's a great
I'll
question.
take it off the air. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks for the call. Thanks for the question. So, truth be told, I think both and it's both and. One, a little bit more to the audience about what happened. Senator Sanders, along with another senator, proposed a bill that would allow for the import prescription drugs from Canada, which clearly is going to import drugs at a far less expense than what we have here in the United States. Like, it's impossible to compare the two, right? How much people would save. 12 Republicans voted in favor of it, and 13 Democrats, I may have those numbers transposed, but 13 Democrats voted against it, including Cory Booker, who is positioning himself to run for 2020. Let me just take a minute and state here, like, I'm trying my best out of solidarity with all blackness and everything else not to come for Cory Booker, but I swear, if Cory Booker even tries to run for office, I mean, we need an all hands on deck to crush his campaign before it even starts. Yes, you can quote me on that. You can send that out, because Cory Booker is the quintessential black neoliberal, period. But the neoliberal multiculturalism, because he's black and he's a nice guy. And, people think I saw somewhere they said that they thought he was Captain America because he would run into buildings and save people. But then when they needed to get a meeting with him in his town, they couldn't get him because he was on MSNBC. He was too busy. And one constituent, I forgot where I read this article, but it was a brilliant statement on him. She said that they voted him for Senate so they can get him out of their city. All right. So I think Cory Booker has been on my bottom list of my shit list since he came out trying to defend, like, don't get me wrong, Obama didn't do anything about it. But back when the question was about Bain Capital and their type of business, he came out in defense of Bain Capital against his own president. Like, and don't get me wrong, it's not like Obama actually did anything about it, but at least when we're having a national conversation on the nature of vulture capitalism, you would expect that the Democrats would at least be in sync with their president, who actually had a more populist position. But the person who went against them during that campaign was Cory Booker. So he's been on the bottom of my shit list since then, because he revealed himself to be the corporate shill that he is. He's also, I believe, the number one or the number two recipient of donations from the pharmaceutical industries. And so he puts out a tweet today saying that he's 100% in favor of importing drugs, but he just want to make sure, I just got to make sure that they're safe. And the vote today had absolutely nothing to do with the nature of the safety or the regulation. It had everything to do with the ability to have a debate about it, and he voted it down. So Cory Booker's dreams for 2020 need to 100% be buried today. Now, to your bigger question is there any hope for the Democratic Party? I don't know. I don't think so. Me personally, I'm like, to hell with the Democratic Party. However, I think it has to be both and, right? I can't allow my disillusionment with the Democratic Party to jade other people who feel like they can work with the Democratic Party. But I will say this: the progressive movement 100% needs to be able to exist, operate, mobilize, and fundraise outside of the framework of the Democratic Party. Not just do it, but do it so well that we have to be reckoned with when it comes election time, where you're not looking to us to get our vote. You're coming to us to see what you have to give up to get our vote. Like none of this, oh, progressives don't have anywhere else to go business. That needs to end now. It's done by 2018. We need to be so organized outside of the Democratic Party that we bring pain to the Democratic Party, that we extract concessions from them, or for that matter, from the Republican Party, or from whatever party we feel is going to give up the concessions that we are demanding. But we cannot do that from within the Democratic Party. We have to organize outside of the Democratic Party. And if that organization is strong enough and has enough tentacles spread across the nation, and they want to run local elections, and they get large enough in 2020, then maybe a third party. But I'm not waiting for a third party. What's most important, forget about a party. What's most important is the organization, the activism, people, boots on the ground, organizing locally as a progressive movement, and a solidified one that's galvanized into a coherent movement, so that we move as a block. And when we move as a block, we bring a hammer and a sickle. Anyway, yeah, somebody just gave me the safety issue. Totally BS, because it was written in the bill by Bernie Sanders. It's all a scam. It's all a dog and pony show. And the question is, are you going to allow? I mean, this dude just got straight on Twitter and lied about it. Cory Booker, man, that's a sociopathy. That's a level of derangement that has to be challenged. Like, you're not going to get in my face and smile and lie to me and expect me to just sit there and be like, oh, well, he smiled when he said it, so it must be true.